Hello, here is Emmeline, Network Coordinator of Yen. Today we are meeting with Inga from Iceland. She's a former board member of Yen and she's paying us a visit in the coordination office in Strasbourg. So we are going to interview her in the frame of the 25th anniversary. So watch this! Welcome Inga, nice to meet you, and we are here today to interview you for the 25th anniversary of Yen. And the first question for you is, who are you and how did you meet Yen?
My name is Ingeborg Valgesdottir and I'm from Iceland. I first met Yen in the year 2000. Yen was 7 years old, I was 27, but it felt a little bit like I was the 7 years old one. Yen was very strong and courage organization, and at that time they had the seminar about life and death here in Strasbourg in December. So that was my first time I got to know Yen. And it was a very strong seminar who had a strong influence on me and the other participants.
Okay. And what were you doing at that time? What was your field of work?
I was a youth worker in Iceland, working with young people with less opportunities. I was working with young people who had been dealing with difficulties in their life, with drugs, with violence, with drop out of school, with problem with their families. And one thing we did with them was a project called the Highlander Project, where we were hiking in the middle of nowhere in Iceland for 2 weeks at a time, and doing different kind of projects with young people.
Okay, nice. And the reason why we interview you is also because you were a board member at some point in Yen. So how did you candidate? What motivated you to become a board member?
After the seminar Life and Death, I was luckily invited to come to a General Assembly in March in Belgium, 2001. And there I was selected to the Bureau. And that was a very rich experience.
And how long did you stay?
I stayed in the Bureau 2001 to 2003.
Okay.
And yeah.
Yeah. And during your time as board member, do you remember any topics that were at stake at the moment? What were the challenges or the success that you had as a board member at that time?
Yen was 7 years old and it was young, but at the same time it was an organization that was really like growing. And at that time I remember we had a reflection about where are we going, what is the strategy, and really making our vision clear and how to go on. We had letters coming from China asking us to participate in some youth work, and we were seeing things what was happening in the States, and we were really figuring, are we going to, how big do we want to be? And at the time we were also thinking about our roots, how can we keep the people who were the founders and who came first in the first years. How can we involve them to be part in the future, and how can we bring new organizations and countries into Yen? So different kind of subjects about the organization itself and the growth of Yen in the future.
Okay. And according to you, how do you see the role of a board member, and do you think it's important to have young people involved also in the board or not?
I definitely think it's important to have young people in the board. We all come from our different places with different kind of different view. We have different opinions on things, and having a young people in the bureau who can really relate to the work that we are doing is really important, and they have a very important point of view in the discussion and decision making, and also about the needs.
Yeah.
And the needs are the most important thing for me, that we sense what the needs are for young people in different communities.
Okay.
So I think for sure, I think it's important to have young people on the board.
Yeah. And the next question is, what are you doing now, and is your work still related to what you did before Yen and during Yen? What happened after?
I've been doing different things. Today I'm working with old people. So I'm a manager for a service for old people in a municipality in Iceland. For me, I believe it's a very related work to work with the young people and working with old people. It's all about the humanity, about respect, about dignity, about your needs, about your way of living, about your way of keep on enjoying life and be part of the community, have a voice. So it's very, very linked. But the service for older people in Iceland at least, and I know it's in more countries, are far behind youth work. And we can see there are changes in the societies, and more nations are getting older and older. So there is a huge need in the service for older people wide around the world. And I can see many things that coming from the youth work, technique, point of view, way of thinking, lots of things that can be very useful in work with older people. And I can see in Iceland that people are coming from the youth sector into the sector for elderly.
Okay.
And now I'm really missing an elderly express network. And that's something I would really, maybe it exists.
Maybe, yeah.
But I think there is a growing need.
Yeah, true. Interesting. Thank you. And our last question is, what are your wishes for Yen's 25th birthday?
I wish that Yen keep on being awake. Awake and aware of the need. And use all the senses in all these different communities and different countries to be aware and have the courage to look at what is the most important thing. Because most of us are taking our eyes away and looking at other things because it's comfortable. But Yen has, in my point of view, had the courage and be strong to go out of the box, out of the comfort zone, and really sense the needs in the communities. So I wish Yen a happy anniversary. The young people who have been involved in Yen, and the youth workers and the organizations, and really keep on going, guys.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.